I think what I would say in answer to this question is it doesn't always aid reflection, because poor quality supervision, or supervision that's just about how many cases have you got, have you done this, have you closed that, what's the latest, have you done your stat visit on time, that's all about data gathering, doesn't aid reflection. And in actual fact, I think it can hinder reflection in some ways, can almost be the opposite, because a worker come into that, especially say if you're a very new worker and you don't have previous experience of supervision, maybe think that's what social work is about. It's about just gathering data and crunching that and making sure targets are met or whatever, rather than actually really being reflective. So poor supervision doesn't aid reflection, but I think good quality supervision really gets the worker to dig deeper, and maybe it gives them a different perspective, because I think a good supervisor asks you an unexpected question. They ask you a question that you hadn't even thought of, and that's what makes it really reflective, because it makes you think. Anything that makes you think is reflective. But if you go into supervision, it doesn't make you think, because you've just got a list of, this is when my last stat visit was, this is, it's just facts. Anything that makes you think really enhances your reflection. I think, though, it's much like, as we've said throughout this, it's much like social work. If you're a social worker asking a family just, for information-based questions, all you're going to get is information-based stuff coming back. And then it makes evaluation of information much more difficult. Whereas if you're asking questions that really make that parent think about their parenting and about their child's situation, that's really going to enhance your intervention. And that's why your assessment can be an intervention in its own right, if you're exploring things in the right kind of way. So I suppose it's that bit about the way supervision is done can enhance reflection, but it can also limit reflection. I think that's the starting point from my perspective. But what about from your perspective in terms of, in practice, what really works in supervision, do you think?
I think definitely having that space and somebody to ask you those, like you say, unexpected questions, but also to dig that little bit deeper. So it's not just process driven, like you say, that we are asking people about what emotions that brought for them, for the family or the individual that they're working with, and what effect has come from that. So, it's unpicking things again, isn't it? And just going that bit deeper. And how do you do that? Is that just through questioning, or do you use tools to support you? So I think it can be quite creative, but it can also, like you say, fall back to that process stuff, because, there are boxes to tick. And we need to make sure we do that bit, but we also need to make sure that we're offering that kind of space for people to reflect and really think about their actions and feelings and emotions and everything that's interlinked to that, really.
I suppose, again, it's just about that, bringing that connection with practice over again, isn't it? When we're working with families, there are boxes that we need to tick. There's some information that we just simply have to have. But then if we use creative tools in our direct work, then we're going to get more from that. It's going to create potentially just more opportunity for change and growth and development. And I suppose now more than ever, I think social work needs to be creative, and that, you can only be creative as a practitioner if the support that you receive is creative, if your supervision is creative, if the supervision is asking you questions that you think, that was actually a really good question, really made me think, I could try using that question with that parent next week. So it's that model in the model almost, isn't it, really? And I think that's why, that's how you bring good supervision skills and good social work skills together. And it's that bringing of those together that creates a harmony that I think provides reflective space within supervision. So I think that is really important.
Yeah, I think that point about modelling is really interesting, because I think there's a lot that we can take. I think sometimes we can go into supervision expecting just answers from a manager, like, I want you to tell me what to do and just fix it for me, when we know in social work we shouldn't be doing that with families. So why are we doing that ourselves as social workers? And it is about as well the managers having the support. And I think I really like the work that you're doing in Gwynedd to try and support managers to reflect on their reflective supervision, so that, you know, that they're thinking about kind of the way that they're approaching things, and that they're also having that time as well to think about it and reflect, because I'm sure, you know, managers are also very busy going from one thing to the next, from meeting to meeting. How many supervisions do they do in a day? So the more that we support everybody from the top down, I think the better it is all round.
Absolutely, yeah.